In this training video, we are going to discuss the ACR and all the columns represented in it. First, you'll enter ProLiance, go to the project where you'd like to view the ACR, and on the left-hand side, expand Budgets and select ACR. This will give you a list of all the different views that you have available to view the ACR. Now, we recommend the profit projection view when doing your profit projections, as it makes sure that there are no columns or rows hidden. However, if there are other views you prefer, you can click Manage ACR Views, Edit Menu, and you can click next to any of these views that you prefer to see and click Apply. I'm going to go ahead and open up the profit projection view. And once my ACR is open, you also have the ability to modify the view. Along the left-hand side, you have the cost code that represents the item where you either have budget or money going towards. If you need to look at the description, you can expand it and view the actual description. Now, the first 5 columns are all budget related. The original budget would be any costs that were uploaded as an original budget. The original budget should match what your owner contract dollar value is for. The budget revision column is made up of 2 document types. It can be the actual budget revision due to change orders from your owner, or it can be a revenue change order where the values have been handed off and finalized. Either document type will increase or decrease the budget revision column. The current budget column then is just a summation of the original budget plus your budget revision column. The pending budget revisions column can also be comprised of 2 different document types. The first would be a budget revision document that is in pending and not active, or it could also be a revenue change order value from a cost event that has not been handed off or finalized. The pending budget revision column can also be comprised of 2 document types. The first being a budget revision document that's in the pending state and not the active state. The second document type is any cost event on the revenue side that has not been handed off and finalized yet. The projected final budget column is then a summation of your current budget plus your pending budget revision column. Again, the projected final budget should be what we are going to be paid for from our owner. The actual invoices column is the first column then where we transition from revenue to expense. The actual invoices column will show any real invoices that have hit this job. These invoices can come from E1 and or ProLiance. We'll now transition over from revenue to expense. The actual invoices column is actual expense dollar values going against your project. This column can be comprised of 3 different documents: approved expense invoices, pay applications from your subcontractors, and any labor costs. As we move to the right, we'll now talk about the 3 pending expense columns: uncommitted costs, cost events, and pending commitments. The uncommitted cost column shows money that is still available for scopes of work to be bought out against. When auto or pre-commit contracts are written, they will pull down or draw down against the uncommitted costs that are available. These dollar values can be managed through 2 different document types: a transfer document or a contingency cost event document. As scopes of work are being bought out and money remains in your uncommitted cost column, you can begin to transfer these excess funds into other pots or other cost codes, such as profit or contingency. The cost events column is where you can show future spending of money against certain cost codes. You'll monitor this cost events column through an expense cost event document. The pending commitment column can be comprised of two documents, the first being a pending contract and a pending change order document. Once those pending documents have transitioned to executed, those dollar values will flow into the next two columns, original commitments and executed change commitments. These dollar values then will represent actual expense contracts and change orders that you've written against these scopes of work. If I scroll all the way over to the last three columns, you'll see that these are all summation columns. The current commitment column is a summation of the original commitment column and the executed change commitments. This will tell us how much money we are expecting to pay out for the various work across the project. The estimate at completion column lets us know how much money we anticipate to spend on the project, as it combines current commitments in addition to any future foreseeable expenditures, such as uncommitted costs, cost events, and pending commitments. The projected variance is calculated by taking the projected final budget and subtracting the estimate at completion. Positive values mean that we are making a profit in that cost code. Negative values mean that we are losing money against that cost code. Down at the bottom, you'll see summation values for all the different columns that we've just discussed. It is important to have your projected variance be 0. In doing so, it will ensure that your profit line item and your contingency line item show the real values for what you have in those cost events. So when submitting profit projections, you'll want to have your project variance be 0 and manage that through costs in your contingency and or profit line items. To quickly export this information, click the Export button in the top left. This will allow you to print, save, email, and distribute the ACR. You'll see it did just a data dump of all the cost codes and all the values so that it's easy for you to highlight, edit, print, and send this information out. Note that superintendents do not have access to this ACR, so it's important that you send this information to them on a regular basis. I'm going to go ahead and close the ACR, and I'm going to click on the financial dashboard. There's two things to highlight here, one of which is you can get an ACR by date report. This is something that a superintendent can pull on their own, or if you ever need to check to see what your ACR looked like a few weeks ago or a few months ago, you have the ability to run this report. This dashboard is also where you will submit your monthly profit projections. You will get an email notifying you of the due date for the profit projection. When the ACR is ready to be submitted, you will click on this profit projection button, and there will be a timestamp for when you submitted it. This information then goes to accounting and other executives across the company on a monthly basis, letting them know the gains and losses of every project. For other ACR information, you can go to On the Green, type in Proliance, click on the ACR link, and here you will see other work instructions and helpful information about how to manage the ACR.